Hello, class. This is part 2, chapter 42, part 2. And in part 2, we're going to take a look at the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. The topic here is going to be insider trading, and we're going to have a general look at that topic. Right, the applicable rule when we're talking about insider trading is Rule 10b-5, which prohibits fraud in the sale of a security. This is the cause of action for fraud that you have learned about in Business 12A. Right, to review, what's required for securities fraud? 1, a material misrepresentation or omission. 2, scienter, which is a Latin word for intent. All right. 3, reliance by the plaintiff. 4, damage or loss. And then 5, causation, a link between the misrepresentation and the loss. When you look at the first element, we ask, what is material? Something is material if the decision to purchase or sell is affected by it. Sorry there, I believe I got cut off. I'll try to pick up where I was. So here are some examples of what might be material, what might be the basis for a charge of insider trading. So here on my screen, follow with me. 3A, if there is some significant change in the corporation's financial condition, that would certainly be material. Letter B, if there's a development such as a new discovery or some litigation liability, that would likely cause significant change in the corporation's financial condition also. That would be considered material. We're going to take a look at a case, SEC versus Texas Gulf, in which the court examined materiality of a new discovery. And then letter C, if there is an act such as fraudulent trading that's likely to affect the market's perception of the corporation's shares, the value of those shares, that also might be material and result in a claim of insider trading. Excuse me, class. All right, I did say we want to take a look at this SEC versus Texas Gulf. So this is a case in which the company Texas Gulf discovered a natural gas deposit. The information was not released to the public right away, but people that worked for Texas Gulf heard about it. These same people at the company, they invested and they bought stock before the information was publicized. The purchasers were caught. The court said that it could infer that the discovery of the gas deposits was material to the purchase just based on the timing of the purchases. And the court concluded that insider trading could be found here. So the court reversed it, the decision, and sent it back to the trial court for ongoing review. All right. So the evidence of the insider trading here is based on the courts looking at the timing of the purchase, right? At or about the time that the insiders to the company learned about the deposit, that's when they went out and bought shares. Right. And before we go on to look a little further at insider trading, just want to mention to you that there has been additional legislation. A lot of this came in the 1990s, so it's over 20, 30 years old now. All right, but let's just talk about it. These are some protections against litigation for the corporation. And so number 1, safe harbor. If a publicly held company wants to make a statement, a forward-looking statement in their annual report and not be held liable for such forward-looking statement. They are allowed to make some meaningful cautionary statements, some other additional disclosures to let the general public, their investors, know that. All right. That's one way a corporation can protect itself from liability for making rosy statements about the future. All right. Number 2, class action suits are also restricted under state law, and we're talking class action suits over shares being offered for sale. All right. So the legislation has limited the ability of these type of suits under state law. All right. I'm going to leave this part 1 now, and we will be picking up in part 2 and discussing insider trading with a little more specificity. All right, so let me close out, and I'll see you in the part 2.